Alright, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another edition of the Push for Relevancy Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling here on the channel. We are beginning the build to our fourth, it's confusing because we opened with a pay-per-view, but we're continuing the build to our fourth pay-per-view Spring Break Bash, fresh off of the previous pay-per-view, where in the main event we saw Frankie Perez defeat Frankie Boy Fernandez in a tag match. Going Coastal lost to the SoCal Savages. We also have the Wildcats were forced to disband, and I don't have it pre-booked, but tonight we will see both men in singles matches and their new arcs in their career. And, yeah, we still have the same champions. Carlos Barrera retained at the pay-per-view. The Beach Boys retained at the pay-per-view. So, honestly, let's just get straight into this first of two coast-to-coasts in this episode. Alright, we kick off this edition, episode number 10 of Coast to Coast, with California Love Machine calling out Heartbreaker, who, if you don't remember, at the end, in the main event of Uprising, California Love Machine and Frankie Boy Fernandez, Going Coastal, were screwed out of the victory in the main event against the SoCal Savages after Heartbreaker ran in and took out California Love Machine for essentially calling him an incel. And so California Love Machine, he calls out Heartbreaker, he demands to see him. Heartbreaker comes running out. He has ditched all the suits. He's not wearing his suits. He's not wearing his sunglasses. He's no longer happy. He's got this fucking stupid mustache, and he comes out, and there's no exchanging of words. Heartbreaker starts throwing punches. California Love Machine starts throwing punches. It's just a full-on fight, and Heartbreaker looks like a completely reinvented man to kick off Coast to Coast. So we'll need to see where this is going. Up next, we have El Jaguar's first match post the Wildcats, now that they were forced to break up forever, and he wins his first match as a solo act, defeating Air Raid Siren in 12 minutes and 21 seconds. Really good match. El Jaguar with a 63 and a 55 for the total match. Afterwards, at the pay-per-view, after dismantling the Wildcats for good, Gangster Nation made their message clear and took out the Beach Boys, our current Coastal Zone tag titles, our current Coastal Zone tag champions, and essentially this is them officially calling the Beach Boys out, saying, we got next, we want to take you guys on, we want to take those tag titles from you. Now that we've put the Wildcats behind us, the year of Gangster Nation can finally start, and it's going to start with new tag team champions. And yeah, 43 for that. We then have our current Extreme Champion, Carlos Barrera, who is a star now, so this match was too short in the eyes of our audience, but it's still decent, as Carlos defeats Juliet Balconi in 10 minutes and 16 with a Curb Your Enthusiasm. Overall match got a 55. But it's the post-match that we need to pay attention to, because now that Luis Montero Jr. has finally ended his feud with Zell Quinn, beating him in a hardcore match once and for all, Luis says, Carlos, I'm finally coming to get my one-on-one rematch for that Extreme Championship. And he is interrupted by Sky Hermosa, the tag partner of Kira Lee, who lost to Kira Lee in the number one contenders match 2 or 3 shows ago. And Sky Hermosa essentially says, Luis, every one of us in the back has done nothing but watch you lose opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. How many fucking chances are you going to get? And how come you're getting another chance before me? And essentially, it is set up for next week. Luis Montero Jr., Sky Hermosa, winner will take on Carlos Barrera at the pay-per-view for the Extreme Championship. So we do have a number one contenders match set for next show. Let me pre-book that. No, it won't be. You know what? It will be Extreme title rules. I think if the match is gonna be a qualifier for the Extreme title, then I think it should be in Extreme title rules, which is of course Aussie rules, which is essentially our kayfabe way of saying, yeah, weapons are technically legal, but we're not like, that's not the point. That's not the focal point of the match. So yeah, 51 for that angle. We are then once again greeted by the duo of Fox Mask and Mask Cougar, and they're essentially like, sorry, Tony the Wonderful. Sorry that had to happen to you, but it needed to be done. We hope that our message got across to everyone it needed to get across to. However, there are still certain people on this roster, still unproven rookies that don't deserve anything that they've had, and we feel like we need to take some action. There's still too many young names getting special treatment because, oh, they're the future, and we're not having it. What we did to Tony the Wonderful, we'll do to everyone else. That got a 57. In our semi-main, the creative finish was a success, so that's beautiful. And Frankie Perez got a 70. We have a trios match between Zell Quinn and Ice versus Kira Lee and the SoCal Savages. Hot off a main event win at the pay-per-view, the SoCal Savages keep their momentum going, teaming with Kira Lee, defeating Ice and Zell Quinn in 1851 after Frankie Perez submits Zell Quinn with the P-clutch. Overall match got a 66. There were too many recognizables on this match to let it go 20 minutes, which is kind of a shame, but it is what it is. And then afterwards, Frankie Perez, he calls out Frankie Boy Fernandez. He says he's earned a Coastal Zone title match at the pay-per-view. However, he is interrupted by IPW's Frantic Ali. And yes, I know we just had Deacon Darkhold on the show. However, there are not a lot of men in COT that are very over in the Southwest, unless you're from IPW. So whenever we have COTT storylines, most of the time they're going to be involving guys from Invincible Pro Wrestling. So Frantic Ali says, he comes out and he says, look, Frankie, I don't give a shit what you've got going on, but the committee demands that you defend that title at the pay-per-view. And I have been handpicked by IPW, by COTT to represent, so you better fucking gear up. Forget about the Coastal Zone title because you have a belt that needs to be defended, and it's going to be coming home to me if you don't focus. 53 for that angle. So we cut to the ring where we see American Flash, and he's also not happy because despite winning at the pay-per-view, his victory was cut short by a very ominous message from a nameless and faceless individual who essentially called out American Flash, said that he's going to be taking over CZCW, and this is his company now, and American Flash, he comes out and demands to know who it is, and after a second or two, all the lights go off, and when they turn back on the Tron, or screen, or whatever the fuck we have here in CZCW, it says Seth Whitehead. TCW mid-carder turned Coastal Zone main eventer. Seth Whitehead is here. What is he doing in the Coastal Zone? Well, he's here to take over. And he takes over by taking out American Flash. He hits his finisher on him. Angle was a success. The segment got a 56. And, Seth Whitehead will receive penalties if he loses a lot, which is not the greatest thing. But it is what it is. Seth Whitehead, I really think, could be a huge game changer for us. I really hope he doesn't get snagged up by a bigger company soon, which tends to happen with guys that get released from big companies as they end up going to a different one eventually. So fingers crossed that we can have Seth Whitehead be a cornerstone of this series, at least for a good year or two, because he's really fucking great. And now it's time for our main event. Frankie Boy Fernandez versus Tigre Salvaje Jr. El Jaguar opened the show and Tigre closes it, but unlike his tag team partner, Tigre Salvaje is just no match for Frankie Boy Fernandez in one of the greatest matches in this fucking Saves history so far already, as it gets an 81 when Frankie Boy Fernandez defeats Tigre Salvaje Jr. in 20 minutes and 28 seconds with the dirt nap. But after the match, Frankie Boy Fernandez does something kind of unexpected, and that is call out Frantic Ali. And he says, look, Ali, like, it's really cool that you think that you've earned a COTT World title match, but I'm going to be honest. If it's got to be defended on Coastal Zone soil, no one really gives a shit who you are. No one really gives a shit who you are. And this prompts Frantic Ali to come out, and he's like, what do you fucking mean? It doesn't matter. I don't care if anyone knows who I am. I'm here to win. And he's like, look, all I'm saying is everyone thinks you're a fucking bitch. Like, if you truly want to prove to the people of Coastal Zone and the people of COT that you're worthy of challenging Frankie Perez, then how about you beat me one-on-one next week, and the winner will take on Frankie Perez for the COTT World title. And Frantic Ali says, look, fucking, you got yourself a deal. Not only will I be able to shut your ass up, but then I'll be able to shut up Frankie Perez at the pay-per-view. Let's do it. Let's do it. So yeah, Frantic Ali, you are not Frantic Ali. Frantic Ali and Frankie Boy Fernandez, one-on-one. Winner gets a COTT title match at the pay-per-view, not the Coastal Zone title. Number one contender for COT, which is a crazy stip. And the show overall gets a 71. Really good stuff. Really good stuff. More will develop on the next episode of Coast to Coast. Alright, Coast to Coast, number 11, second Coast to Coast in this episode. We've got our opener and our main event pre-booked. Kicking off the show, of course, we're getting winner takes on Carlos at the pay-per-view. Sky Hermosa versus Luis Jr. And then our main event, Frantic Ali showed up, called his shot for the COTT World title. Frankie Boy was like, buddy, get the fuck out of Coastal Zone. How about me versus you? Winner gets that shot at the COT title. And, so yeah, that's going to be our main event. I'm actually really looking forward to Frankie versus Frantic. I think it'll be a very good match. But we kick off the show, Sky Hermosa versus Luis Jr., and Zell Quinn once again gets involved. However, he does not screw Luis Montero Jr. He seems to also be over Luis Montero Jr. This is the first appearance we've seen of Zell Quinn since the hardcore match. He comes out, and to everybody's surprise, does not screw over Luis Jr. He screws over Sky Hermosa. And after he lays out Sky Hermosa, while Luis isn't looking, because Luis would have taken his head off before he could even do anything, he points as he's walking away, and he's laughing, and he's like, that's what your partner gets. That's what she gets for teaming up with Frankie and taking me out. God. So essentially, Zell Quinn got tapped out by Frankie Perez. So what he has done is he has blamed Sky Hermosa. He has blamed Kira Lee because she was on the other person's team, and as a result of them winning, he punishes Sky Hermosa. I'm not here to book, I'm only here to book, I'm not here to explain Zell Quinn. This is how this man's mind works. He screws over Sky Hermosa because her tag partner was in a 6-man where the winning team won, and he was the one that got tapped out by not her tag partner. So all I'm saying is it seems like he's going for the easiest possible targets, in this case being Sky Hermosa, who, in general, probably not the easiest target to pick on. Regardless, this means Luis Montero Jr. is going to get his one-on-one rematch against Carlos Barrera, and the two begin to have a stare-down when Sean McFly, newly suited Sean McFly, shows up. And essentially he's like, look, I'm sick of all this fucking interference with the Extreme title. I'm truly sick of it. Alright? Now, I know tonight Zell Quinn was not the bane of your existence, but he's been the bane of everybody's existence. And generally, this title, since the beginning of this year, has seen nothing but interference. So how about this? To finally get this one-on-one match and make sure no interference happens at Spring Break Bash, you two will be fighting for the Extreme Championship in a steel cage match. And this isn't a fucking WWE rules. You have to, it's pinfall or submissions only. I don't like Escape the Cage. I think it's stupid. I think it's very dumb. The whole point we're doing a cage match is to prevent outside people from going in. So we don't want the inside people coming out either. So Carlos versus Luis for the Extreme title in a cage. We then cut to the back, where Heartbreaker, he's got his hoodie on. He no longer has his designer suit. He has a hoodie on, and he has his stupid mustache, and he's like, men like California Love Machine, they're ruining the purity of all the women in Coastal Zone. See, before I showed up in Coastal Zone. I was the heartthrob. I was the love maker, heartbreaker. But all of a sudden, California Love Machine has turned all these women to borderline hookers, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of men like CLM thinking that they can just run around having sex with whoever they want, and the rest of us are what, chopped liver? It's not gonna happen anymore. It can't be like this. It just can't. CLM's going down, and all the women will go back to being how they're supposed to be. So yeah, Heartbreaker's completely lost his fucking mind here. He's completely lost it. Just absolutely out to lunch here. So the Beach Boys take on Ellie DeGrazia and Eureka LaBelle in a 2v2, and our tag champs go over. Beach Boys win. Decent little match, 56 for all of this. And then afterwards, Chet and Simon essentially say, like, look, Gangster Nation, we don't fear you at all. We do not fear you at all. If you've definitely earned your tag title shot. You beat the Wildcats and you took them out forever, so you've earned your shit. If you want a tag title match, then go right ahead. You can have it. 2 versus 2, spring break batch, us versus you. Winners get the titles. 36 for that promo. We then have another El Jaguar win where he defeats Altitude in 10 minutes and 32 seconds with the Jaguar suplex. 51 rated segment for that. El Jaguar did good, I guess. It was not the best, but he did alright. Afterwards, the California Dreams go backstage to find California Love Machine, and they're essentially like, look, we understand what you're going through. I mean, what we went through was completely different, but it's also the exact same. Heartbreaker is one of the most disgusting human beings we've ever met in our lives. So we understand what you're going through. And honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, we want to offer our help for you. However, we would like some help in return. This is going to be a bit of an exchange. If we help you take on Heartbreaker, will you help us take on Zell Quinn? And California Love Machine says, absolutely. Absolutely. There's something seriously wrong with that, man. And they're like, yeah, we know. And that segment got a 50. Up next, we have Masked Cougar taking on Fox Mask 2. Match goes 11 minutes and 51 seconds. The match got a 61, and Masked Cougar got a fucking 73. They have great chemistry, which is beautiful to see. Masked Cougar goes over in 11 minutes and 51 seconds. And this is a really interesting match because Fox Mask 2, believe it or not, is Fox Mask's protege, and Masked Cougar is currently his partner in crime. So after the match, Fox Mask, he helps up his protege, Fox Mask 2, and essentially says that he is the only true future of this company. Forget men like Tony DeWonderful. Forget girls like Kira Lee and Sky Hermosa. You, Fox Mask 2, are the only true heir to the throne that this company has. And I trained you, and I brought you up, and I tried to set you free, but seeing how the way that this company has been run the past few years, that was one of the biggest mistakes I've ever done. I should have never set you free because look what they've done to you. They've done nothing but try to hold you back because who associates with you. So how about this? You align with us, and we will unite to prevent the erasure of the past with our new future. That was like a whole nothing burger of a sentence, but you get what I mean. Fox Mask's like, help us preserve the old CZCW, and you will be the star of the new CZCW. And Fox Mask 2, he shakes Fox Mask's hand, he shakes Masked Cougar's hand, and the three men walk to the back together. 54 rated angle. We then cut backstage where Seth Whitehead is talking, essentially like, I am gonna take over Coastal Zone. Nobody can stop me. I'm coming for that title, but I can't just go right for the title. I need to take out the guys that are in my way, and the first man that I need to take out is you. And before he can finish, which he was essentially talking about American Flash, before he can finish, he says that he was interrupted by El Jaguar, who says, I'm not going to let some outside reject from TCW come in and ruin this company that I have spent so much time busting my ass for and working my ass off for. And I want to prove myself as a single star. You need to prove yourself as anything in this company. So you're going to have to go through me before you go on and take on anybody else. So yeah, that's actually going to be happening next week. That is going to be our main event. Seth Whitehead will have his Coastal Zone debut against El Jaguar in the main event next week. That segment got a 47, and it's time for the main event. Number 1 contenders match for the COTT World Championship. Frankie Boy Fernandez is able to defeat Frantic Ali in 19 minutes and 57 seconds, which means that Frankie Boy Fernandez, the current Coastal Zone champion, is going to get a COTT World Championship match at the pay-per-view. And after the match, Frankie Boy, he calls out Frankie Perez to the ring, and he says, look, Frankie, I'm going to have to, look, Perez, I think it'd be foolish of me to deny that after what happened at the pay-per-view, you didn't earn a Coastal Zone title match. However, I have just earned myself a COTT World title match. So how about this, Frankie? Since we're already going to face off at the pay-per-view, how about me versus you, winner take all, Coastal Zone Championship, COTT Championship. I can finally put you out to pasture and take everything from you for you daring to step up and take out me and my tag partner. And Frankie Perez says, I want nothing more than to tear your egotistical ass down. And they shake on it, and it is set. Winner take all, COTT title, Coastal Zone title, Frankie versus Frankie in the main event of Spring Break Bash 2022. 67 for the show. Financial report, we lost only $2K, so we're going to make all of that and then some back in broadcast revenue when that second show airs. We did not gain in the Southwest, which is a little upsetting, but it happens. Yeah. Alright, so I hope you all enjoyed this episode of CZCW's Coast to Coast. The first of 2 tapings that we're going to have before the pay-per-view. Going into the next tapings, so far all we have pre-booked is Seth Whitehead's debut with the company, where he will be taking on El Jaguar. Yeah, other than that, we'll just see where it goes. Double title match set for the pay-per-view. Heartbreaker's turning into quite the incel. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed episode number 8, and I hope you all come back for the final 2 Coast to Coasts before Spring Break Bash.